August the 21st at the Mint Lounge, there will be a party starting at 5:30, and we have all sorts of folks like Jeff Cameron, who's going to be there, Nick Maddox, former running back and current commissioner, is going to be there. So everybody support the Seminole Club on August the 21st. So Les Akers, we appreciate you more than you know. Thank you. Come on up, Les.
When I stood up before you last year and I introduced him, I don't think any of us knew what to expect. Yes, we knew we had talent, but after losing 11 players to the NFL and after replacing 6 coaches, well, that would seem like a lot to overcome. If he never wins another game, the thrill and excitement he gave this fan during that championship season of 2013 will last me a lifetime. Please welcome to the podium.
They're flying by, there's no doubt. But I would like to say a special thank you to Les for sponsoring this event every year that I've been here. But more importantly, for being a great Seminole. I mean, Les is one of those guys that, you know, when we need things and we've been asked for improvements and we've asked for a lot of different things that a lot of people don't see, that I think have a tremendous effect on our player development and how our kids are evolving in the program. Les is the first one to step up. He always has. I mean, he, like I say, he says, I love Florida State, but he acts like he loves Florida State. Every time you ask him, he does. And then, personally, for being a great friend. Les has been a tremendous friend to me and my wife, Candy, and my boys, and we thank you very much for that. Well, it's here, isn't it? It just seems like we just stopped this not too long ago. But they do, as they say, as you get older, they do go quicker. And you know, as things get better and you stay busier, and I guess if you win more and you stay busier, then they do kind of jump up on you very quickly. And as I say, you know, we've already had our first scrimmage. I mean, today was our first scrimmage of the season down here in the stadium. I'm sure some of y'all, there had to be a bunch in the restaurant. Some of y'all were peeking through the cracks and crawling up to all your little holes that y'all know where to hide at, and try to get a view of it. But no, it is here, and we're excited. But you know, the thing I want to talk about is everyone is asked about last year. You know, everybody talks about last year's team, and you know, and they think, well, Coach, don't you want to forget it? Don't you? No, I don't want to forget it. I do want to enjoy it and remember it and the good things from it. But you know, the thing about it was that how people ask me all the time. You know, we broke records. We had the #1 scoring offense in NCAA history, the most points ever scored in a season. At the same time, we led the country in scoring defense, had the #1 defense. We had the #1 kicker. We had returners. We won. I mean, Jameis won every award you could possibly win. We had the Groves Award winner. We had the Remington Award winner. We had runner-ups for the Thorpe. We had All-Americans. We had 3 or 4 consensus All. I mean, you had it all. And people keep talking about how talented our team was. And we were talented, but they were talented people. And what I mean by that is they were true people who cared about each other. And the thing about last year's team, the one word that comes to mind, the very first, I mean, it's instantaneous to me, was the word selfless. I've never been around or coached a football team or any team in any sport that actually was a true team more than last year's team. You never saw guys get mad who made the play, who got the glory, who did what, just so someone made it. And we had a saying on last year's team. We said, play don't care who makes it. In other words, there's a play out there to be made. That play don't care who makes it. If you're a freshman, you're a sophomore, you're a junior, you're a senior. It doesn't matter who makes it. You know what our kids didn't need? Just so someone made it. And most of the time, that's not true. People want to say, you guys play for each other, but kids, they want glory. We're in that instant gratification time. Right now we're in this syndrome of kids that have grown up that, it's about me. It's about, we've said that all of our lives, but I think it's getting worse and worse with all the attention is draped on them and the things. And our kids, as talented as we were as a football team, we had better kids than we had players. And they were the most selfless group of people that I've ever been able to coach in my lifetime in any sport. And now everyone says, well, you're going to get them to do that again, right? I said, well, let me ask you this. Can you get your kids to consistently do things at home all the time? That's the challenge. It is a challenge. But saying that, it's very exciting because to me, each year brings different challenges. And as your program evolves, different things happen to you. Because now, like you say, everybody's wanting to have a part of Florida State. All of our kids are getting attention. They're getting drug here. They're getting drug there. They're getting for this award. They're getting, can we have them for this? Can they go speak for this? Can he be on this? And and the thing about it is, that's a hard thing to contain. It really is, because it makes you as soon as you win a championship, everybody says, well, how do you repeat and what are you going to do? Well, I've studied a lot of guys. I studied a lot of guys that had championships. And here's what happened. When you win a championship, everybody thinks it was them who won it. The head coach thinks it was him, the assistant coach thinks it was him, the player thinks it was him, the trainer thinks it was him, the booster thinks it was him, the AD thinks it was him, the president thinks it was him, this player here, this player here, and this player here. Everybody wants credit because it's human nature. I'm not poking at anybody. That's what human nature is when you have success. Look at me, I've done something. That's exactly right. We all did something. But we all have to realize we collectively did something. It can't happen. No one person. I did not do this. My assistant coaches didn't do it alone. The players didn't do it alone. People said, how did y'all keep getting over the hump? How did y'all go from 9-4 and 12 and 2 and boy, we finally got it. Y'all did something. The players changed. Something? I don't think the players changed. I think they learned from each other. I think they learned from past experiences like we all do. But more importantly, I think Florida State's learning. I really do. I think we're learning to evolve into the modern times of how things are done as far as progression and how kids are affected in so many different ways, from social media to the pressures that are on them, from the recruiting to the academic world. And like Jerry said, we are being demanded from coaches and players probably more than ever because of the media and the social media and the access in which you have to it, which is part of the game. We all accept that. But at the same time, what I'm extremely happy about, we're not content here at Florida State. This capital campaign to raise $250 million, what it does to me, it says, you know what? We won a championship. We're very good. We're doing things the right way. But you know what? We know there's more out there. We know there's more that has to be done. And you hear me make this statement all the time. There's never, as people ask me, how are you going to maintain? I'm not maintaining anything. Have no plan to maintain. You can't maintain. You're either getting better or you're getting worse. And you have to have that mentality. It's not always measured in wins and losses, but it's measured in how your program goes and how it's being developed. And you say, well, how do you measure that? To me, it's how it affects the kids. It's all about the kids. There's nothing that we do, not me as a coach, not Carl as assistant AD, not Les as a booster, not y'all as a fan, not Stan as the AD, not our president, not a professor on campus. Nothing is more important at Florida State than the kids. If it wasn't for the kids, none of us would have a job. We forget that. We think it's about us sometimes. And what you're doing and what our booster club doing now with this capital drive to be better is saying, you know what, we're not content. And we know there's going to be things in the future that we have to change, that we have to get better at, and there's going to be issues, and that we're going to be ready for them so the next group of kids can win a championship, and the next group of kids can win a championship, and they can graduate from school, they can be great individuals, they can be great ambassadors for Florida State. That's what's got me so excited about Florida State right now, because we're getting good players, there's no doubt. We're recruiting well, we're getting good players. But guys, everybody thinks it's not that. It's what you don't see behind the scenes that affects these kids. And what you say, when you're demanding from these guys, I want this out of you, 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 I want this out of you. And you keep giving them the same thing over and over, and they say, wait a minute, what are you doing? I mean, all of a sudden you give them a new dorm. You give them a new practice facility. You give them a better place to live or eat or go in the locker room now. You know what that says? They care about me. Florida State cares about me as an individual. They care that if they're demanding for me to be excellent, guess what? They are too. And that's what I want people to see. When you walk into Florida State now, we're recruiting nationally. We have a brand name. We're going from coast to coast trying to get the best players. We want all the local kids, as many as we can get, all the Florida, Georgia kids, but then we have a brand name to go out and say, get those guys. Say, Coach, well, y'all been doing a great job. Well, you know what? Think about this. Think about Les as he's a salesman, and he's got a business. There's a lot of places around here you can buy a car or truck. Why are you going over to see him? Maybe it's because of the service. Maybe it's because he makes you feel special. Maybe it's because he has first class in everything he does. And when you walk into Florida State, or you walk into any place you ever come in contact with, when you're looking to do business or go on a vacation there, whatever it may be, you get an instant impression the second you walk through the door. And I'm going to tell you what, that impression most of the time can never ever be changed. The perception of the first impression, bang. And what we're doing right now says, you know what, when they walk in, I see excellence. I see greatness. I see a place that's committed to developing great people and great players and great students. And if you don't think that's important, folks, you're missing the boat. That's all these kids and the people think. That's what we all think about. Think about when you want to go buy something, or you want to go somewhere on a vacation, and you'll go local. But if you're going somewhere far away, it's something that's special. It's something that you have to work for. You have to make a sacrifice for. And if we're asking kids to come from North Carolina, Virginia, Washington, D.C., and Ohio, and Texas, and California, wherever they may go, they're bypassing 8, 10, 12, 14 schools of significant, we're great at Florida State. But remember something, there's some other coaches and players out there, they got scholarships over at some other places too. They got buildings. They've got tradition. They've got history. Now, we're prejudice to ours. I wouldn't trade ours for nobody. That's why I'm coaching here. But at the same time, they can sell that too. So it's a constant, it's not, and I say an arms race, it is an arms race, but it's also a people race. Because all these buildings, the thing that I think that we have over everyone else is that we try to do in our organization over here is create a family atmosphere. Because at the end of the day, the bricks, the buildings, the weights, the impressions, that gets you there. The people keep you there. What Derek Brooks say, and when he was talking about his speech, what people say or what people do, but how you make people feel, they will remember. Don't forget everything else, but when you make someone feel special, people never forget that. That's a lasting impression. We want to get them in the door, but then then the people at Florida State, we've been blessed. I talk about our staff all the time. I wouldn't trade our staff for anybody in America. Our staff is a tremendous, tremendous group of people. I mean, we all know who they are. I mean, Randy Sanders is the offensive coordinator, doing a great job with our quarterbacks. Rick Trick is doing a great job with our offensive line. Jay Graham at running backs. Tim Brewster at tight end. Lawrence Dawsey at receiver. Odell Hagan's D-line. Sal Sinceri at D-ends. And Charles Kelly coaching DBs now. And then you all haven't had a chance to meet Bill Miller yet, but Bill is a tremendous guy. He's been in this system, been in this organization. I've known Bill a long time. One of the few guys that's coached at all 3 schools in the state of Florida. You think about it, he's coached at Florida, he's coached at Miami, now he's coached at Florida State. So sometimes it feels good to go behind enemy lines. Get a few of them. But know how they tick. But that group is very special. It really is. It's a tremendous group. And people say this all the time, and I say this about our team last year. You heard me talk about the word selfless. I believe this. Most kids act like their parents. What they see every day. Their values, their core values, what they say, what they do, how they act. They're usually a reflection of your parents. All right? Only when mine are good, but sometimes they do reflect candy. So. No, don't say I said that. I'll be in big trouble. But no, they do. And that selflessness came from our staff. I don't know if you talked about replacing 6 coaches. Everybody thought it was tough. It's tough, but it was easy because we had a bunch of guys who knew how to coach. They knew it wasn't about them. They knew what their job was. We had connections in the past. And I've never been on a staff. I've been in some staff, now some great staffs, guys who won a lot of games. I couldn't stand to sit in the staff room with them for more than 20, 30 minutes at this time. Because, hey, in this business and all business, there's egos now. There's egos. It's about me. That staff was a complete reflection of our football team. They are tremendous men, they're tremendous husbands, they're tremendous fathers. We are blessed. Because the most special thing I say we have here, with all the things that we got going on, there's no doubt, it's the people of Florida State. And our support staff is continuing to grow. And I think that's very important. People don't realize this as boosters and things that are going on. The support staff and the people behind the scenes that allow us to do so many things, that watch other films or set things up or have certain things done that buy time for us, that we don't waste time spending that other staffs have. And that is continuing to grow, everything. Because here's my goal. That everybody in the whole organization that touch our kids have a oneness. It's not about them. It's not about the media department. It's not about the academic department. It's about Florida State football student athletes. That everyone who touches them truly cares for them. And I'm going to tell you this. Don't think you can trick one of these kids into thinking that you care for them and it's fake. Our kids those kids on that field are the best judge of character in about 2 seconds of anybody I've ever been around. A lot of them, the areas they come from, they make a mistake on a judgment of a person. They ain't hurt. Some of them, it costs you a life. They get it. They know when people truly care. And by adding support, adding all this, the capital funding, and all the things that you all don't ever see. You see the product on the field. That's all part of the off the field thing. Because I want everyone who interacts with those kids to have a true oneness. That I love this kid. And then people say, well, Coach, how can you say, here, I understand this. Every kid I recruit is somebody's baby. Every kid I recruit is the most special thing in the world to somebody. And we say one thing. If that was your child, what would you do? Does he need help? Does he need advice? Does he need you to find somebody to give him advice? Or do you need to kick him in the tail and tell him to grow up and be a man? Or sometimes kick him off the field and I can go hard too. That's bad. But there's no one cares for him more than we do. As you do, sometimes you get the maddest at who? The people you care about the most. That's something like I say, me and my brother can fight, but don't get in the middle of it. Then you'll be 2-on-1 going backwards on it. The other way. But that's how you have to approach it. And that's why we approach it. But you have to have the funds and the ability to have those things in place. Talking only goes so much. And what they're allowing us to do is develop these kids into great young men. People say, well, Coach, one of them make it. Yeah, I say this all the time. You hear me say it in here. You got 5 kids in the family. 4 of them act right, one of them's a knucklehead every time. Is that right? That's like my kids. I got one ask for permission, one ask for forgiveness. Same bloodline, same. Been raised the same way, everything else. That's just the nature of who you are. But understand something. That was your baby. What would you do? How would you want it handled? How would you want it developed? And that's what that's the whole key at Florida State. That's the key to our success in recruiting. That we care about our kids, but the people here care about them. And what you understand that everybody who interacts with these kids, when they feel loved, they feel comfortable, they feel that people truly care about them, guess what they're going to do? They're going to play their heart and soul out for you. In every way, shape, or form of everything they ever do. It's not brain surgery. But it is. That's why Florida State's special. That's why I'm excited about this team again. I see a lot of the same qualities. I really do. Now, can this team win a championship? Yes, it can. Will it win a championship? I don't know. That's why we play the games. That's why we love sports so much. We don't know everybody says this is entertainment. Okay? Now this is competition. There's a difference. In entertainment, when you do it wrong, they get to say, redo that again and refilm that again. And you get to look at it again. Competition, you don't. You have to live with the results. It's just like life. Bad things happen to you, you got the adversity, you got to move on. I truly believe this. I think that's why we love athletics and sports so much. Because every time you turn the TV on, you don't know the end of the movie. You can't predict. As soon as you think you know it, something different happens. There's a different ending. You don't ever know. To me, that's what makes it last. That's why people say sports. I say sports is so equal to life. You never know what's around the corner, and you got to deal with it. Now, we have to deal with it in front of 83,000 folks, and some of y'all question what we do. and how you say it, but that's part of it. But it's real life lessons for those guys. It is. But what I'm excited about is we have great kids on our team. I'm excited about this football team. We just had a great scrimmage today. I think we made a lot of headway. I think there's a lot of young players, again, that I think some of y'all are going to be very, very excited to see. I think the freshman class in which we had come in is one of the most talented we've had, one of the best big classes as far as offensive, defensive linemen, guys of size that put their hand in the dirt, as I say. And I'm going to tell you, when you got guys that put their hand in the dirt and they're pretty good, it's pretty fun to coach. I'm going to tell you that, when you can control both lines. We got great skill guys. We got guys that can throw it, guys that can run. There's some great young backs in this group, receivers, DBs, line. I mean, there is. This class was complete. It really was. I feel very comfortable about it, very excited. We better. We're going to have to, what the thing is, how well can, and how many of those guys can we get developed by the time that first game comes around? Because we have experience and we have older guys. But you think we couldn't have won that championship without Jimbo Ramsey last year? Nate Andrews, a lot of those freshmen that stepped in. And people say, Coach, which one? I don't know. I still don't know. I've watched one scrimmage in about 10 practices. I still don't know, all of them. But you can start to see the guys, but we're going to need them. We got to get them developed. So that's why I think it's very critical to get the right guys and get guys that can come in and make that impact, because there's injuries, things happen during the season. We have an extremely challenging schedule. People say, open up with Oklahoma State out in Dallas, which I think is a great venue for us. Hopefully it'll be the second time, and then the first of 2 times we walk in that place, but we'll see about that. But that's our goal. That's our goal. I don't know that. And we set our goals every year. That's our goals every year. Our objective is to play great football. And that is there is a difference. You can't worry about your goals. You hear me talk about it all the time. The process, the process, the process. What's Coach talking about? It's what you do every day. It's the habits you create daily. How you practice, how you think, how you do things. Because when those pressure situations come, your habits are going to go straight to the surface. There's no doubt. And if your process is right, the objective to play good football, and then you can live with playing good football. Sometimes you win them all. Sometimes you may not win them all. But if you're playing good football, you always got a chance. That's going to be our objective all the time. But I feel very confident about this team. I think there's a lot of leadership in this team. I think there's a lot of experience. At the same time, there's a lot of youth. And that can be good and bad. Sometimes, we get some young guys, but sometimes, as I say, ignorance is bliss sometimes. They don't know what they're going into, and they line up and play, and it doesn't matter. Who thought we'd have a freshman that win a Heisman Trophy? You don't know. That's the thing about this thing. You don't know which guy's going to step up, who's going to do what, when, where, and why. But I wish I did. I'd sleep better. But I am excited about this season, where we're going, what's happening. I think we got a chance to have another great football team. I really do. I think the thing about it is, people say, well, what's the difference and what's the experience of winning a national championship? Well, you know. In other words, you know the things it takes to win. You're not guessing anymore. You're not hoping anymore. You know how to act. You know the work ethic that's required. You know the habits that are required. And you know the mindset that's required. And more importantly, you know the selflessness that's required. Now it's a matter of repeating those things. And I think that's the hardest thing in life to do, is to repeat things over and over and over. And why? Human nature sets in. It's called boredom. Boredom is usually the downfall of most all great people, great businesses, great everything. We get bored of doing the same thing over and over and over and over again, and we do different things. And we think we got to go reinvent the wheel over here and reinvent the wheel. You got to tweak and turn and stay ahead. That's the fine line. Where do I stay ahead? But at the same time, the fundamentals. Our kids say, Coach, the first meeting every year for 5 years, you said the same thing. The guys have been there 5 years. I said, when the reasons you win and lose change, I'll change. You can't get bored. And that's one thing that's going to be a challenge for some of our guys. You have to stay hungry as far as the competitiveness of each week, and take that and appreciate that and have the laser focus in which we had last year. But we'll see. Our job as coaches, that's their job as players. But the administrators play a key role in that, because they will affect the guys every day. If Monk don't screw things up, we'll be in good shape. Him and Curson. But no, it is. But we have a great group. We really do. And I'm excited about them. I'm looking forward to the challenge. Like I said, we got great home schedule. We got a great road schedule. And it's going, we're going to be on national TV every week. We're going to be out there. And recruiting right now for the next season is going exceptionally well. I can't speak in general about anyone in particular, but I feel we're getting good players, and we're getting the guys we want in the program. But it has a lot to do with the administration here, what was going on, but more important, the Booster Club and the commitment that they're making to us, so that the future of these guys is going to be in great hands. I know that. Is there any questions anyone has for me? I'll take a few questions real quick. Anyone? Yes, sir.
I understand we've got a punter or a quarterback that's a pretty good punter. Can you comment on his talent level?
He hasn't been punting much. He had a bad hamstring. He's practicing, but he can't get his hamstring up, so punting is a big strain on it, so he has not punted, but he is a quality punter. He can punt in the future in what's going on, but right now he had a hamstring that's bothering him, so he is not punting right now. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Jimbo, is Nick O'Leary back to full speed?
Oh, yeah, no doubt. Nick's staying about 250, 252 pounds right now, bigger than he's ever been. I mean, he spotted 500 bench for him. Nick's in the best shape of his life and had a tremendous day today. Has had his last 2 or 3 practices have been as good as he's been. I mean, Nick is really playing great football right now. As good as he's played since he's been at Florida State, without a doubt. Yes, sir.
With the championship playoffs, I think you expressed some concerns about the impact that might have on conference championship attendance. Would you care to?
Yeah, my whole thing was, you know, the championship, the playoff is great. It's going to create, but I think it is an issue for fans at times because how many games can you go to? And I worry about the conference championship games. How can they be attended? I mean, can you afford to go to Charlotte? And if we have to go to the Rose Bowl again, then we have to go back to Dallas. I think those are issues that I think we have to understand. We saying we want a championship, that's great. But you know what? I'd like for Florida State people to be there. You know what I'm saying? I'd like for you to see that. I think those are major concerns because not everybody can afford, to go on 3 trips. And you know, but the first thing people said, see, to me, there is 3 playoff games. It's the conference championship and the semifinals. That's why I made the statement about everyone should have a conference championship game. It's not that they actually have the truest conference champion because they play everybody. I don't doubt that. But it's still another time a game you have to play. You could have injuries or a loss. But I think it wasn't a Big 12 issue. It's a college football issue, in my opinion. I think, before you have a championship, everybody should play the same number of games and do the same things. But, I think it's a concern for me. I'm going to be there. But at the same time, I do feel for those of you that have to make a choice of which games you can attend and what you can do. That's just, as a head coach, and if I was a fan, that would be something that would be concerning to me. Really would. Yes, sir.
How is Mario Pender running, this early point?
I'm going to tell you what, you saw that he ran extremely well today. Extremely well today.
Is he going to be backing up Carlos?
They'll all be playing. Carlos ran well, he ran well, and Dalvin Cook ran well. And so did Mr. Vickers from right here in town is going to be a really good football player too. So, I feel very confident about that group. He was very dynamic today. He really was. Yes, sir.
Take us through the decision-making process of the fake punt at the national championship game.
Well, everybody says, it wasn't spontaneous. We had it. You have to try to pick the right time to use it. When you're talking about game-changing plays, it's not yards you want. It's momentum. The thing we don't talk about in athletics enough, that if you're ever watching a game, you say, well, I felt this happen. The momentum of games is what's critical. And especially when you're talking about 18 to 23-year-old people, once momentum gets going, sometimes they're not mature enough to stop it. And that's what we work on as coaches all the time, dealing with adversity, dealing with momentum to stop it. And the thing about that punt, saying that, we couldn't get it changed on offense. We had bad field position. We couldn't execute, getting things going. Defensively, we couldn't get the turnover, couldn't create something. And I knew we had to change the momentum of the football game. It wasn't just the score of the game was dictating. I know if they score before the half again, it could be devastating to us. We could not have a chance. And if you go that far, I'm not going to go and leave all my bullets in my gun. You're going to have to. Now, is it something we had planned to use at the right time? Yes. It happened to be, it was a chance I thought we had to take. We had it set up. It was the right look. We had to check with it. We could check it off if it wasn't there. But we had to change the momentum of the football game. And then by doing that and then being able to score, that's why people said at halftime, you said at halftime you felt good and you were real calm. And you said, and that was coach talk. No, it wasn't. Because I'm going to tell you, that was the first game. I say this every time I talk about this. That was the first game all year our kids went out there and worried about winning instead of playing well. And what I'm saying, they got caught up trying to play so hard they made mistakes. We had some guys that are playing in the NFL right now, we're all Americans, making some day one mistakes of installation. I'm talking about missing assignments, missing things, but it shows you playing big games and big moments isn't just playing, it's about handling everything that goes with it. That's why I'm excited to go play in this kickoff game. The more times you can get in atmospheres and environments, and Doak Campbell's full every time you walk out of here, and there's a aura about it, and there's a sense in the crowd of excitement. The more times your kids can get used to being in that, the more times it becomes natural. So when you play in those games, it doesn't bother you. And that bothered us early. For some reason, our kids were trying too hard. Everybody said, y'all made great adjustments. We didn't make any adjustments, we just calmed them down. And we got them doing the right things that we had coached before. Sometimes that happens. And I saw it in their eyes when we scored after the fake punt. You ever just look at your kids, you look at somebody and say, you know something, he's back to being normal. And their body's kind of relaxed, and I didn't know if we'd win it, but I knew it was going to be a heck of a second half. But we had to change the momentum of the football game, and that's why we did it. Anyone else? Yes.
Coach, what area of the team do you see as the biggest challenge coming in, or biggest question mark coming into the year, and who's the most difficult opponent on the schedule?
All of them are concerned, and all of them are the biggest opponent on the schedule. Here's my point about the biggest opponent. How many wins does each of them count? If you lose it, how many do they count? One. So they're all equal. They're all equal. Now, the others may have better talent, but as I say, to me, it's not about our opponent. You heard him say that our opponents are faceless. It's about us. It's about us. How we prepare, how we play, and how we can, be laser focused every week. And I truly mean that. That's not a coach talk. That's exactly how you have to play. That's how you have to think. And if you think any differently, you don't get athletics. You don't. Now, I'm not saying we do it every week and things. Human nature sets in. That's your job as a coach to constantly. It's educate. You got to educate them on why it happens. And we've had them in a few. But here, name me a team. Everybody has them every year. Everybody be undefeated. Everybody said, well, how'd you lose? You've lost a couple early in that year. Well, tell me who did. Name me somebody that gets the guy who wins the national championship usually did, but everybody else did somewhere in there. That's human nature. That's what happens. But I do have concerns in all areas. Not even the areas like offensive line. I think we have one of the best offensive lines in the country, if not the best. But I worry about quality backups. I worry about getting guy here. If this guy gets hurt, how you move it here, how you play it here. And we spend a lot of time here mixing, matching, cross-training guys. We got a great secondary, but all right, we got two guys right now. We got hamstrings with P.J. Williams and Darby. They'll be back. They'll be fine. But okay, we had a scrimmage today with that. What if that was a game? Those areas, as a coach, the unknowns, the injuries, those things concern me and keep me up all night, all the time. Always trying to plot, plan, and you're trying to plan for the rainy day, and it may never come, but if you don't have a plan, when it rains, you're not going to be played. So those things all concern me. So there's no one area, it's all areas and every opponent. Anyone else? Get one more? Y'all gave up on me already? Thank y'all very much.
Let's hear it for Coach Fisher. All right, we've got a couple of presentations for Coach Fisher. First of all, Coach, you get the very first Tallahassee Quarterback Club golf towel. There you go. I don't know when you'll play it, probably next spring, but there you go. We also, if you'll stand up, Coach, we've got a great presentation of this little box is engraved the Tallahassee Quarterback Club and Coach Jimbo Fisher's name on it, and inside is a very nice coach's whistle that you can wear around your neck. And remember that we appreciate you and love having you here at the Tallahassee Quarterback Club. Thank you very much. Absolutely. And finally, because of the generosity of Les Akers and all of the members here in the club, we have a $2,000 check to the Kids First Fund. Thank you. Everyone, Coach Fisher. Okay, folks, our next meeting is going to be on September the 9th with Houston Nutt. This meeting is convened, and we hope you will join the Quarterback Club. Thank you.